Whoops. Hey, how's it going, guys and gals? Welcome to this week's episode of Cartridge to Cloud. I'm Lifeshifter X. I'm joined by Captain Tutu today. It's just the two of us today. How's it going, man?
Just the two of us.
I know, right?
We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. You and I. Pretty good. Happy Memorial Day, everybody.
Yep. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you to all the veterans, current and previous veterans out there.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
So we got some cool topics coming up today. We had took it last week off. We had a little bit of short staff last week, so we just decided to take a little nice mellow week. So we're back better. We're going to be talking about some of the Epic Games info that's been released recently, kind of like a whole clump of news all in once. This is something we felt like we still wanted to carry into this week's show because I think it's still pretty relevant about everything that's going on in terms of Epic, which is kind of interesting. We're going to be talking about some of the Npd game selling numbers across all of the platforms and see what some of the top best selling games, platforms, so on and so forth. And we're also going to be talking about some of the upcoming game releases this week, which I'm pretty excited about since our show's on Monday. We have releases on Tuesday, stuff coming right around the alley, right? So
much.
We like to usually get started and talk about some of the stuff we've been personally playing this week. Tutu, I'll go ahead and let you start.
Yeah, I wish I had something more exciting to talk about, like I told you before the stream. But pretty much the only game I've been playing like this past week has been Elder Scrolls Online. Of course, preparing for the new expansion that's dropping tomorrow. So lots of ESO, just grinding out my level and trying to get some raid ready gear. But also I did play Valorant a bit more too, which I'm starting to like more and more as I play. And I'm noticing I'm starting to get like a little bit better here and there. I still suck at it, but still have a lot of fun with it.
Nice. Yeah, I know we got to play a little bit this week myself too, and I was super excited to actually get kind of dig in and play a little bit. And we actually got through the Harrowstorm DLC, which was actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
or the prequel. A lot shorter than I expected though, because like the previous stuff for Elsewhere or the prequel quest for that was like super long. It took me like 2 days to complete that one, so I was surprised on this one. But
they ended it on a nice tease though, showing off like a bit of Blackreach. Oh my god, that zone is going to be so beautiful.
Oh, I know. Tomorrow. Especially where the king is there too. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. For me personally, I played a little bit of ESO with you. I've also kind of dug in a little bit to Maneater, which is kind of a hilarious arcadey style like shark eating game, which is super brutal, but it's hilarious. Like as you do.
How much of it did you get to play?
I got through the whole tutorial section. And then I beat the first 2 missions, I think, on as your baby shark. You're the one you're going to build up as part of the whole story. So like this, the baby shark, you could actually go and you build it out. You build it out you want. You pick its special abilities and all that stuff as you go along, and you find them and so on and so forth. And man, like the first couple levels, man, are really tough because first off, you're in like the river in like Louisiana or Georgia. Like the swamp areas, and you could get attacked and eaten by crocodiles in the process, which is really weird. Like these 2 animals you don't think are normally in the same water,
Yeah.
So it was different. I also got to dig in a little bit of the new World of Warships patch that came out this past week that brought in 3 new Soviet cruisers, and that was actually really fun. Like I actually got back into World of Warships recently, and my god, like I forgot how fun that game was, but they brought a lot of really good quality of life stuff to the game, which is, fantastic. It's definitely something I would love to, touch back on here and there, just because like the leveling, like they took out some of the grind, so it's not as bad as it was. So like it used to be where like once you get to a certain point, you're basically grinding for like weeks to get your new ship. And now it's not that bad, especially if you took advantage of like the Twitch Prime deals, which I had. I had a bunch of free ships sitting in my hangar waiting for me. And I was like, oh, cool, I'll finally use them. And then when you do use them, you can get a ton of free XP that you can convert to use on any other ship you want, which is great. So you're not just stuck on grinding that one ship to get what you want. Aside of that, I just kind of digging around a bunch of other random stuff here and there. I mean, of course, I go back to like staples like Mordhau and some of this other stuff, but pretty good. Pretty good. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started on the Epic Games blowout. It's been kind of a lot of interesting stuff that's come out this week. You wanna start us off with this topic?
So probably the biggest and most notable thing was the reveal of the Unreal Engine 5, and they had it showing on the PS5 running beautifully and looking all smooth with all the triangles and assets going on for it. But there's been like a big debate about like right now if the PS5 is stronger than even PC.
Yeah, it's been one of those things that's like super weird because you're like, okay, PC's always has always had the edge of the market, right? Because you can do so much more with it. Like whereas a console, they're your cookie cutter hardware. What you get is what you get unless they come out with a newer, fancier version like the Pro or the Xbox One X or whatever second iteration of the current generation you're going into, right?
Yeah.
But this one, this one was kind of hilarious because it's like something you already know. Like if you're a PC gamer, you're like you could go above and beyond what consoles can offer, especially current gen consoles. Like they're stuck at I think 8 gigs, like a quad core system. Nothing too crazy, and then most of the time are limited to about a terabyte of hard drive space, which for whatever reason most console games are probably about as big, if not bigger, than most PC games too, to some degrees. Like even on 1 terabyte, most of the time you're only going to get like 6 to 10 games depending on the game. And if you're playing Call of Duty or Red Dead Redemption, there's already half your hard drive space or more for just those 2 games. But so coming to this, we saw this nice, wonderful PS5 demo. And then it comes and it gets played on PC, and it's twice as smooth with a laptop, actually, in fact, running at the exact same specs of a PS5, which was really interesting. And the funniest thing that came right afterwards was what Epic CEO Tom Sweeney said right afterwards. He's basically
before that,
down.
Tim Sweeney talked about hyping up the PS5, saying this comes from an article on The Verge. Tim Sweeney says the storage architecture on the PS5 is far ahead of anything you can buy on PC for any amount of money right now. It's going to help drive future PCs, and the PC market is going to see this thing ship and say, "Oh wow, SSDs are going to catch up with this." So that's what he said before before it was running on PC.
And where I think that's like it's good, like it's going to get new storage architecture is always good, but that's that's helping with load times and so on and so forth, right? But that's not processing the game, it's not presenting the graphics, it's not doing some of the other stuff. And you're just like, okay, well, what what is going to come out of just having a fancy new loading mechanism, right? Like you transition smoother, which is what the biggest complaint is right now in gaming is loading times. I mean, even on PC you have them. I mean, the best way you could avoid them or improve them is just buying a better hard drive. But if they're saying this is going to be the next great tech, well, it's prototype tech though. Like it's going to be put into a console for the first time, and then PC is going to get a hold of it and advance and iterate on it. Whereas the PC is still going to be, or the PS4 and maybe even the Xbox are going to get stuck with this hardware until they come out with the second generation, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, that's cool to boast on that, bro, but it's going to get old quick, especially as fast as PC stuff changes. Like in the time a console goes from the start of life to the end of life, like PC's already gone through like 4 iterations of hardware. Yeah, and true. And a lot of even your average gamers that don't buy stuff every year, they still upgrade probably about every other year or every second year, I would say, or every third year. I would guess, like every 3 years they'll get a new upgrade. That's about for me, that's my life cycle. I might upgrade a video card or something here and there, but aside of that, like 3 to 5 years is about the big lifespan of my PC. So it's gonna be interesting. But it's funny. So you get along in this demo, and it comes off and it runs better on this laptop. With this, all this boasting about PS5's got all this great stuff, which I no doubt like we haven't seen everything. Obviously, we haven't seen hardly any gameplay run on the PS4. Whereas just recently we even talked about how Xbox had a bunch of stuff that was running on engine on the console. And you can see how smooth it was and so on. But a lot of it's, of course, cinematics, and the whole quote unquote 3 seconds of gameplay we got from Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I still think I'm still laughing about that one.
Oh yeah.
And you get this whole, everything's running better on a laptop than it is on a PS5, which is like, okay, that's cool and all. And so it made everybody really wonder, like, well, why are you boasting so hard for the Unreal Engine running this game on a laptop that looks better and has less limitations? So I'm just like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one?
It's a weird one to kind of like break down and discuss. Because of course, Tim Sweeney is gonna kind of pump up the PS5 and try and talk like it's the best hot shit in town. And I don't really doubt it, but I don't know. It's just an entirely weird situation as a whole. Like I know the PS5, it's going to take some time for games to actually start to look like that. I don't think they're going to, utilize all this new tech right out of the jump. Of course, the devs have to really have time with it and figure things out. But yeah, it's it's weird. I feel like right now it's just kind of one of those, like, we'll wait and see, when we have the PS5 and how games actually shape up, across the entire generation.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I mean, it was a demo, an Unreal 5 engine demo.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of people don't realize it's not a game. It's just a demo, shown for the purposes of, showing you some minor capabilities of what an engine can do. And most of it is graphical, of course, because, a lot of the stuff runs on that part, but it is just literally a demo. Like, people get all excited, oh man, I can't wait to see this PS5 game and all that. I'm like, no, it's not even a game. It's literally an engine demo. Like, Unreal comes out with them multiple times a year for any new update that they do to their engines, or especially a new engine iteration. Like, this is going to be Unreal Engine 5, I believe is what they said. So it's a brand new iteration on the engine, which is, now a new landscape, new architecture, new fun stuff for developers to play with, and all these fun things, and probably a lot more optimized, I'm sure, than 4, right? But it's ultimately a demo. Like, there's no way to there's no way to simplify it any more than that. It's just a demo. And it's not a game, it's not anything specific, unless they come out with something with it, which is a different story, obviously. But for all intents and purposes, everything we saw on it's literally just an engine demo. So I'm like, all right, cool. So the next part of it was actually Epic is actually going to be easing up on royalties in terms of developers are not going to actually owe royalties for the first, I think it was 1 million, right?
Yeah, first 1 million revenue.
Yeah, so at this point, like, Epic used to collect about $3,000 in revenue per quarter on just royalties from most developers, on average per developer, just for using their engine and so on. So, I mean, you think about it, they ease up the first 1 million, it helps out a lot of indie developers, which is actually a good thing ultimately, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. We've seen Epic doing a lot of good guy pro consumer pro developer moves, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I like some of that stuff. It's pretty cool. Like, it's one of the positive notes I could say that we've reported on Epic Games recently. I mean, I know a lot of people still have problems with the engine, running Epic Store and all this other stuff. But Epic Games being like, hey, like, we're going to take away your first $1 million in royalties, and that's free. Use that, make your game better, do whatever. Which, I mean, aside that and the stuff that they're doing with getting developers on exclusive deals for years or multiple years, or complete exclusivity to their platform, and helping them out with their development costs, which is huge. Like, it's going to release way more games, right?
Yeah.
But we have the stigma of being able to stuck with Epic Games. Now, the store, like, while I love it, it's still almost a year behind in all the promised features originally. Like, their original roadmap has been blown out of the water. Like, it's not even the same what they had this time last year. Like, this time last year, we were already supposed to have Wishlist, which we just barely got. We were supposed to have a cart, which is still not there. I'm still surprised on that one.
That's all I want.
Yeah, no, like, and then a gifting feature. Like, give me a gifting feature, give me a cart, and give me a proper, a better wish list system. Even like the one they've got there is pretty simple. It's rudimentary, but it's just like, okay, like, Steam is still doing a lot of these things substantially better, and their new AI is actually working out pretty good in my opinion. But it was just like, man, they're still behind quite a bit on some of this other stuff.
Definitely. Yeah.
Doing stuff right by the developers, but not by the consumer. So I guess that's the way I'm looking at it for that one. I don't know.
And, to segue off of that, another thing they're doing right by developers is Epic has now opened their multiplayer systems for other developers. So this means, like, Fortnite's crossplay is now free and open for any developer to use, which is amazing, of course, because we know that Fortnite really kind of spearheaded this move into crossplay across, like, all platforms today. And of course, this should be a thing just throughout gaming for every generation going forward. So it's nice that Epic opened this up to everybody else.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you know who was the biggest collaborator towards that, right? For the crossplay stuff.
No.
Psyonix with Rocket League. They came out with one of the early crossplay models, and then they basically worked together and improved that with Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, because they were around the same time, they were both getting ready to come out with crossplay. I think Rocket League dropped just before it. I think it was like spring of 2016, and then by end of 2016 is when early 2017 is when they came crossplay with Fortnite.
Well, yeah, Fortnite, remember they did that accidental crossplay. That's what started it all, because they accidentally turned it on at one point, and people were like, "Wait, what the hell? I'm playing with someone on Xbox." And then I think PlayStation contacted them, and they had to turn it off.
Yeah, so then they made it. I think it was PC to Xbox only at the time, whereas Rocket League was the opposite. It was PC to PS4, which was interesting. But they didn't, and PC could play with Xbox, but they couldn't all play together, which was weird.
Yeah, very weird.
So it's just kind of like a weird like toss up of all these things, but that's going to be also good too. I mean, so aside of like some weird megacorp things that Epic seems to be doing, there's a lot of good still coming out of it. Like the royalties, helping developers, helping with development costs. The tech for multiplayer crossplay is coming out more and being more accessible, which now you can't have developers being like, oh, I don't know what to do with multiplayer crossplay. I don't know how to do it. Well, here's your tech. Here's how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
We'll help you. So I think some of that stuff is pretty good.
Yeah, me too. Epic, I mean, say what you want about them. Yeah, there's some negative and stupid stuff they do, but they're really like a driving force as far as like pushing this industry forward, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the best way to put it, right? I mean, they're driving things in the industry which are finally helping folks and being able to do a little bit more, which is nice. So it's definitely nice to help, just get people out there more. I definitely can't complain about, stuff like that. Anything that helps developers and brings better content. Like better games is always a good thing for everybody. Especially more crossplay, as long as there's not, PC hackers and stuff like that, which we'll be actually covering on another show soon.
We'll definitely have to get to that.
Oh yeah. So moving on to the next topic. We actually have Npd Sales coming up for all the major platforms that have come out, and a lot of the stuff that was actually coming out is pretty interesting. We'll actually post the link here in the chat as well, but we'll talk to you a little bit about why or what, or at least our thoughts on it. I mean, I know no stretch of the means we're not experts, but some thoughts. So with Npd Sales, they had some interesting sales. So April 2020, they have a lot of the stuff for it. The charts are actually marked. I put the link there in chat if you want to see it. I could also put it in the description later for the podcast. These charts are sorted by dollar sales, not number of units sold, because obviously a lot of these games come out at different price points, especially in terms of some of the Nintendo games, not all, but some, and some other games that have also kind of peaked around recently. So in the top 10, we have number 1, Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is kind of not a surprise, right? Like, that was something everybody's been waiting for a very long time, and especially with such a big upgrade that this game was, right? Number 2 was actually kind of surprising, was Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which we've already had a few iterations of this. We've had, we're on our 3rd Battle Pass, I think, now, and going on.
Yep.
And then number 3, a month after release, is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 4, NBA 2K20, which is actually still kind of...
Something to note, sorry to cut you off, but Animal Crossing's New Horizons, they don't count digital sales, or at least Nintendo doesn't release their digital sales, so this is only counting physical for Animal Crossing.
Yeah, which could be an entirely different number. It could be number 1, and we don't even know because they don't release that data. NBA 2K20, which is still up there, which is another kind of a shocker one for me. This one actually caught me by surprise, and we talked about this a little bit last night, was Grand Theft Auto 5 being on that list.
Still kicking it, man.
Like, which is weird because, Red Dead Redemption hasn't got nearly as much content, but GTA still is getting tons of content all the time, it seems like.
Well, their last big update, what was the Diamond Casino heist? When did that come out? Was it like late last year?
Yeah, I want to say it was late last year, yeah.
And then the last the big Red Dead update was the Moonshiners one, which was okay, and that came out late last year as well. But GTA still has massive.
And this is one of those games you would expect like heists and stuff like that to be in by now, or bank robberies or something. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. Like, yeah, you could pseudo bank rob things, but it's not the same as like, going through a whole mission and being able to complete that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Going on number 6 though is Resident Evil 3. Number 7, I think it's also because it came out last month as well. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, which is just the campaign from my understanding. It's not the multiplayer aspect of it. I don't own that one, so I can't comment too much on it.
Yeah, it's just campaign.
MLB The Show 20, which also released in April. I think it's April, right, for that one?
Yeah, April or March. Let me see.
Madden NFL 20, which is surprising. It's still up there in the top 10. It's still number 9. Number 10 is Red Dead Redemption 2. And then kind of going on in some of these, like some of them are really surprising. It only goes to 20. But number 15 was Predator Hunting Grounds, which I didn't think would make any kind of top charts. I mean, aside of nostalgia purposes, because the game ended up, I mean, to be quite honest, it was trash. Like, I think that's probably one of the worst games that Sony's put out in quite some time. And especially using such a beloved franchise like Predators. Come on. Like, Another shocker was number 13 was Mortal Kombat 11, but I think that's also due to the new DLC dropping tomorrow. Aftermath, which is going to be kind of cool. Just Dance 2020, which has actually been out for some time, is still number 11. Some oddball ones, right? I don't know. What do you think of those numbers so far, though, and like the top overall sales for those two?
It's pretty fascinating and really interesting. I mean, of course, like the top 3, of course, you figure Final Fantasy, Call of Duty, Animal Crossing. But yeah, it does get really interesting when you see GTA 5, even Resident Evil 3 being so high is an interesting one to me, because I know people love the Resident Evil franchise and the horror, but at least in like our circle and our community, it's like not really talked about much, and especially like the first week, of course, people are all over it, but it seemed to drop a lot faster than even Resident Evil 2 did. It's like Resident Evil 2 like stayed in the conversation for a long time, I felt like. But yes, it's really interesting.
It kind of had to me, it kind of had the same effect as like Doom Eternal. And Doom Eternal's not anywhere on this list, which is surprising too. Like,
that's crazy.
By all intents and purposes, it looked like it sold more than half of the games that are on this release schedule that came out in April. Like just the games that came out in April. And it actually did, I think it did come out in April, right?
Yeah, it came out the same day Animal Crossing came out.
Yeah, so like Doom Eternal's not even on the list for game sales. So what are they doing?
And Dragon Ball Z even beat it out. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
That's another one that flat out surprised me. Like at 20, even at 20, it's still surprising.
Yeah.
So getting in the top 10 best-selling games so far this year. Number 1 was Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which I kind of expected. It's a big title across multiple platforms, especially with the enablement of crossplay, which is a big thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Number 2, of course, not keeping in mind of digital sales, was Animal Crossing New Horizons, which more than likely is probably actually number 1 because of the digital sales, which I'm sure is much more than we think. Number 3 was Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is number 3 for not even being out a month, barely over a month now, and it's number 3 on top 10 best-selling games so far this year. NBA 2K20. Number 5, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which is, I'm blown away by that one, even being in the top 10 at all. MLB The Show 20, which made sense. GTA 5 is still being one of the top 10 best-selling games, and I wonder why that is. I like that one. I kind of want to dig into one day and be like, why is GTA still doing so good? Is it because modders are getting their accounts banned and they're having to rebuy the game? Is it just the fact of new people getting into it? Like, is it a new audience coming in? Like, what is it that's appealing GTA 5? Still kicking this long?
Well, it's definitely online. I mean, whatever it is, it's definitely people are really drawn to GTA Online.
Oh yeah, and then Resident Evil 3 also being up there, and Madden NFL 20, which kind of surprised me because I don't think it came out this year, right? Is that this year? I thought they usually come out in the fall.
It was last year.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was last year, so that's still number 9 for this year so far, which is kind of interesting. The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which has been out for well over a year now.
Yeah, that one's pretty crazy too. But it is bundled with a lot of Switch units as well.
Oh yeah, that's true. So then we get into top 10 best-selling games in the last 12 months. We'll do the top 5 of the last few of these just to kind of get through it. But we've got Call of Duty Modern Warfare, NBA 2K20, Madden 20. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Number 4 is Borderlands 3, which is also another game that's not really talked about a whole lot. And also, like Midas said, it's another game that lacks replayability, I think. Like, I liked Borderlands 3, and I thought it was a great iteration on the franchise, but it was too much of the same of the previous one. I
Yeah,
think it was my biggest problem with it.
that's a lot how I felt like too. It just there wasn't enough special there to keep me like engaged.
I mean, I played it probably for the first week, and then I kind of gave up on it because I was like, it's basically the same game I played before. You keep running and gunning until you get a gun you want, or you die a bunch of times, and then you're just like, okay, I need a better gun, and that's really what it comes down to with that game.
Yeah.
Number 5, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. 6, GTA 5. FIFA 20, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Super Mario 8, and Super Smash Bros., which all are asterisk ones because we don't know their digital sales. Kind of expected. Now we get into the top 10 best-selling Xbox One games. Again, Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. Number 3.
They had the exclusive. Wait, no, it was PlayStation had the exclusive one.
Yeah, they had the month exclusive for that. Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. Grand Theft Auto 5 is number 3. Number 4 is 2K20. Number 4 was 2K20. Number 5 is Resident Evil 3. 6, Madden. 7, Red Dead 2. 8, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, which kind of surprised me on that one, but I think that if it's... Yeah, that's April 2020 best-selling game, so Black Ops 3 being on there is kind of weird.
Crazy.
Unless that was because of the freebie. I think it might have been a freebie, I'm not sure.
Well, this is selling, so I don't think they would count that.
If they counted free games, then yeah, some of these would be way higher.
Yeah.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and then FIFA 20. FIFA also making another sports title, making a big comeback. Now we're getting into top 10 best-selling PlayStation 4 games. Now this list changes, obviously. Final Fantasy VII Remake, because it's exclusive to PlayStation, right? Call of Duty Modern Warfare, pushed down because of Final Fantasy. NBA 2K20, Grand Theft Auto, MLB The Show, Resident Evil 3, Predator Hunting Grounds, which I'm still surprised at all that's on that list. I still don't know many people playing it now. Like, everybody kind of gave up on it after they hit like a certain level. Madden NFL 20, Persona 5 Royale, and then Minecraft PlayStation 4 Edition, which is interesting on PlayStation 4 that Minecraft came up on that.
Well, they just opened crossplay like late last year or early this year, so that could be a reason too. Now thinking about it.
Oh, probably, yeah. That'd be my guess. Now we have April 2020 top 10 best-selling Nintendo Switch games. Of course, keeping in mind that they don't report their full numbers of digital sales, so we can't say on most of their first-party titles, right? Third-party titles we can, it seems like. So number 1, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. 3, which didn't have an asterisk, is Just Dance 2020. 4, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. 5, Breath of the Wild. 6, Super Mario U Deluxe.
Pause on this real quick. It's crazy how this one is selling more than Super Mario Maker. Like, it just boggles my mind. Like, what? Because
Right?
Super Mario Maker, you kind of get that within the game, and you get so much more. But I guess to the average consumer, they don't see that.
Yeah. Then you go into Luigi's Mansion 3, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Trials of Mana, which actually did not have an asterisk, and then Super Mario Party, which is surprising that Super Mario Party is still above Super Mario Maker for being such a big game, So Nintendo seems to be not happy with like whatever Super Mario Maker 2 did. It's not talked about very much either.
Yeah, and the fact that they just came out with their final update, I think, kind of speaks a lot about that too.
It came out in April, I believe, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the fact that that's not in there too, that people are not buying the game for that purpose, is also surprising. So that's pretty crazy.
Also, I want to shed light at the top here, where it compares, fiscal year for April 2019 versus April 2020, and how the top for like video game sales as a whole, including hardware and accessories and everything, was 846 million, and for April 2020 it is now 1.4 billion dollars.
It's like an 80% increase, which is crazy.
Yeah. And then video game hardware sales, which you and I were talking about off before the stream, last year was 160 million, and this year is 420 million. That's up 163%.
Now, just to take a note off of that, for example, like I was actually personally was tasked to go and help our new like break room. We have a new break room that we want to buy 2 Xbox One X's for. And lo and behold, they are impossible to find right now. Like, they're actually more scarce than Nintendo Switches were. Like, not even resellers have them, hardly. Like, that's how sold out a lot of the Xbox One X's are right now. It's crazy. And that was kind of like out of left field, too. I'm like, Xbox One X is being sold out? Like, that's something you don't normally run across, right? Like, what the heck is going on here? So that's interesting. Microsoft Direct doesn't have them, which is normally where you get them last ditch effort when the stores don't have them. A lot of GameStop still do have them, but their physical stores are still closed. So you can't get a hold of them. So it's kind of an interesting thing.
To bring up my own story, of course, the Switch, we're seeing it like kind of go in and out of stock here. I have a friend that lives in Denmark, and we were talking about the Switch, and she was really excited to like get a brand new Switch. And we were talking about like Zelda and Mario. She hasn't really been gaming for quite some time, so she was really excited. And she calls all her stores ahead of time, and everyone's telling her, of course, it's out of stock everywhere, and they won't get stock until like late June, early July. So it's really crazy all around the world as far as just gaming hardware as a whole.
And it's kind of coming across the same thing in like gaming laptops too, which is surprising. Like gaming laptops are actually selling quite a bit too, like aside of game hardware sales. But gaming laptops specifically, not just your standard everyday laptops, like gaming laptops with like, heavy hitting graphics cards and good memory and stuff like that. Some of that stuff is selling out pretty quick. As I'm helping another friend and get their stream up and running. So it's kind of interesting running across these things.
Yeah, if you're looking out for hardware or gaming laptops, just try your best to be on it because they go in and out of stock like super quickly.
Yeah, so total for the video game sales, it was a 73% change increase, which I was a little high. Video game hardware up 163%, which is crazy. Then we have video game software sales, physical and full game digital formats from Nintendo eShop, PlayStation, Steam, Xbox platform, and DLP participants. And that was up 55% from 428 million to 662 million, which is kind of interesting. Then video game accessories, 258 million in April 19. For this year, it's 384 million, which is up 49%. That's still quite like a huge thing for just even peripherals, right?
Yeah.
So, oh, nice. Yeah, congratulations on the new laptop. Low budget Acer Nitro. Nice. That's awesome. But yeah,
very awesome.
So I thought these were kind of some cool things to just bring up in things just to kind of note, and like, of course, with COVID and everything going on, like how big games are right now and how important they are to people for entertainment. I mean, of course, obviously streaming and all that stuff is up a ton. As a small minor note, we've got HBO Max that's coming in tomorrow, so I'm curious to see how some of those numbers change with some of the streaming platforms. So a lot of that's going to get real interesting too. But yeah, I don't know anything else on the NPD topic.
No, it's a really exciting time for like gaming hardware, even streaming, as you mentioned. It'll be interesting to see because there's definitely going to be like a slow period because of this, like, and it might be like sometime next year. So it'll be interesting to see like how game sales, hardware sales do when we go through that period.
Yeah, I mean, as everything like reacclimates, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a big shift again once everything happens. Like we were talking about, like even TV shows and stuff like that, we're going to have a dry spell at some point.
Yeah,
like a lot of the stuff we're getting now was already pre-planned way before everything happened, and we're going to get all of that. But with nobody filming for the last 3 months, 2 to 3 months, probably even longer. It's going to be probably up to 6 or 7 months by the time they get back to actually filming, full speed again. It's going to be crazy. Like we're going to eventually have a dry spell on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, and gaming will still thrive. I think, for that time, I feel like a lot of indies and, newly AA titles will kind of carry it. But, as far as like AAA, there's definitely going to be a dry spell for AAA titles.
I mean, at least like so far, the AAA titles haven't been affected too big, like a week or two here and there.
Oh yeah, I mean, stuff already in development, or stuff that's close to coming out. But I mean, stuff that's like, either just starting development, like right now, things like.
Oh yeah, like some of the startup stuff is definitely going to get slowed down, I think. Games, I don't think will suffer as big of a drought as like TV and entertainment. Other entertainment will do because they have to be physically there, whereas most game companies can still work remote to a degree. At least to a degree for most things, not everything, but most. Yeah, Cyberpunk hype, definitely excited about that. So yeah, moving on to our third topic, we're going to be talking about some of the new and upcoming game releases, which I'm kind of excited. So yeah, Tutu, talk to us about one of the ones you're most excited about, because I know we're both going to talk about this one a bit.
Man, I can't wait. I kind of wish it was coming out tonight, but yes, tomorrow morning, the Elder Scrolls Online is releasing their fourth expansion. Yeah, fourth expansion in Greymoor, which is just a part of their whole Dark Heart of Skyrim year of content coming out this year. And Greymoor takes place in the western region of Skyrim. So a lot of it is like Dragon Reach or Dragon Bridge. I forgot the exact name, and then Black Reach and stuff like that. It's going to be super exciting. It has a really cool gothic theme dealing with a lot of like vampires and werewolves and crap like that. So, yeah, Skyrim.
Yeah, Skyrim region is all going to be there.
DLC expansion for Elder Scrolls Online, which is really exciting.
So
Howard got us again somehow.
So two of the biggest things I think that's noted are nice to note in this one is there's still parts of Skyrim, the Skyrim map that we never got in Skyrim, that's actually going to be coming in Elder Scrolls Online, which I think is a huge hype. Like stuff we didn't ever get to see. It's just parts of the map that weren't there. And also the fact that the vampire tree line is also going to be like huge. So like vampires, like me and Tutu are also vampires in the game, and like their whole skill line is getting redone. And I've been a vampire since day one, basically, the game came out. As soon as I was able to, I got one from a random, vampire that was lurking around at night. So that's going to be really cool. A full new year of content. We're going to get the new Skyrim area. It's kind of cool. It's going to actually go into a new direction. Like vampires are actually going to be able to transform into a vampire lord, which is kind of interesting because like werewolves have always been able to transform into werewolves. So we have like a new transformation, which I think is really cool. A lot of course, like, you bring in more Nord lore and stuff like that from Skyrim. It's really interesting. The prequel stuff that me and Tutu did was actually really good, like a good teaser into the content.
Yeah, and they're bringing like the new antiquity system too, which is like a treasure hunting thing, and you get like what they're calling mythic gear, which is essentially like the equivalent of like Destiny's what is it called, epic gear or something like that, where you can only equip one and it gives you like some crazy bonus stats, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, so I'm really excited. There's a lot of cool stuff coming in that. Another one which I've kind of got mixed feelings about. I'm not a huge Minecraft person, but Minecraft Dungeons is also coming out tomorrow. So we have the new dungeon, like ARPG style of Minecraft, that's actually gonna be playable. A few reviewers have already said this kind of a mixed bag. It's a kids game essentially, so you have to kind of keep that in mind, I guess, when you play this one. It is going to actually be free to play for people that have Xbox Game Pass, or you get on Xbox Game Pass for, it's cheap. I think it's $9.99 a month or $15.99 a month for the Ultimate,
or $1 if you're a new subscriber.
Oh yeah, or $1 a month for 2 months if you're a brand new subscriber. That one's going to be kind of cool. An ARPG with like Minecraft format.
Yeah, I'm still looking forward to this. Of course, I felt disheartened after seeing and hearing a lot about the reviews. But I'm excited to try it for myself to see how it is. I really felt like they should have and could have competed with like Diablo and Path of Exile, but we'll see how it goes when it comes out.
Oh yeah, and then as Midas was mentioning in the chat, you could go to ElderScrollsOnline.com. Greymoor or updates Greymoor. I actually just posted there in the link as well, or in the chat as well, so you can see it. There's a lot of cool content. It goes way more in depth than we just did, of course. A lot of stuff in the new Greymoor update, which I'm excited about. I pre-ordered the collector's edition because I love all the little extras they give you. Another one I'm actually really excited about, which we haven't gotten in quite some time, was Phantasy Star Online 2, which served, I think, how long was the Xbox exclusivity for it? Like 3 months?
No, it was, I want to say about like a month, maybe 2 at the most.
It came out in March.
Well, yeah, it was in beta in March, and then it officially came out in April, and it like transitioned directly from beta to the full release. So that's why it probably felt like 2 months.
Yeah, so it was definitely cool. I'm excited to see what they do with it.
But yeah, the wait overall was like somewhat close to 10 years. It came out like 2012 overseas, I want to say.
Yeah,
So
July
yeah, like
4th,
7.
2012. So it's going to be quite literally like almost 8 years to the day. not
Yeah.
not to the day, but a month off, basically.
Yeah.
But still, it's crazy. I'm excited for that because I played the first one on the original Xbox, and
Yeah.
man, like that was a super fun game for the time.
Yeah, I played it back on Dreamcast. I think is when it first originally came out, which was crazy. But yeah, I love that franchise and that series.
Yeah, man. Yeah. One of the other ones I'm really excited about this coming out the end of this week. I have to probably wait to play it, which is sad, but there's so many games coming out at once that I want to play that it's just crazy. Like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition for Switch is also going to be out. I think it's Friday, right?
Yep, coming out on Friday.
Yeah, and that's a game that was awesome. Like I love all the Xenoblade like content that's always come out with other games like that, and especially that one too. Xenoblade Chronicles was tons and tons of fun.
Yeah, I never officially properly like played any game in this franchise, so I'm really excited to jump into this one as my first one for the first time. So I'll be really excited.
Yeah, like the original I played, which is still in the franchise, it was a discontinued part of the franchise anyway, was Xenogears, which was like a mech combat thing. And this is still mech combat to some degree too, but Xenogears was like way ahead of its time on PlayStation 1. It came out actually around the same time as the original Final Fantasy 7.
Damn.
So it was like, yeah, it's a super legit game. And it was actually really hard to get at first because it didn't come out in the US like almost a year after it was released in Japan. And when you did get it, it was super hard to get because it was like super limited. Like I remember it taking me like on upwards of 3 months to get it finally when I did, and it was like a 3 or 4 disc game. So it's like the same thing as like Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy 7. They were multi-disc continuation games, which I thought was pretty wild.
Fear Effect.
Oh yeah,
Who remembers that one?
yeah. But yeah, a lot of good stuff that's coming out with some of the games this week. So it's been pretty interesting. I think we're gonna have our hands full with that. I mean, of course, I still want to dive into some Maneater and get in with that.
Yep, I'm sure for next week's show we'll have impressions on most, if not all, of these games. So look forward to that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know we're gonna definitely talk about some of the Greymoor stuff, especially starting at probably tomorrow night, I imagine.
Yeah, can't wait. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna like jump straight back into it and just grind some more after we're done with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking to do that. Try to get some dungeons and stuff done, and get a little higher champion level. I just kind of abandoned it for a little bit because it was a little dry, for content, but it's obviously preparing for everything that's been coming up. But super solid still. But yeah, I think we've like surprisingly covered everything on the show today. Any other things you want to talk about?
No, nothing comes to mind. Just a crazy week for games coming up this week. A lot to look forward to. Even if you're like trying to save money, or if you want something for free, there's like stuff for everybody this week.
Yeah, if you guys haven't checked it out usually we try to get them out on Fridays. Sometimes it's Saturdays, but we get out Tutu's weekly deals and cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff on Imperium News. Content like he posts a lot of stuff for free. That's playing like free trials, free games to pick up, big sales, anything that's worth noting. There's always stuff every week. It seems like right now, especially between a lot of the storefronts and everything.
Yep, I posted last week's. Of course, a lot of these or a couple of these deals might be null and void by now, but still worth it to check out and see like what may be up. I know a couple of the free stuff is still up.
Yeah, so there's definitely some good content out there. What are some of the things you think you're like touching back on Elder Scrolls Online, Greymoor? What are some of the things you are most excited about in this new DLC drop?
Just exploring, honestly, Skyrim and these parts of Skyrim that I haven't been to, since the original launch of the game, the original Skyrim. So that's what I'm looking forward to most in the like really digging into the antiquities system and being like a treasure hunter too. I feel like that'll kind of entice you to explore even more.
Now the real thing is, are you going to be a pirate or Gunnian with this now? You're going to be a treasure hunting and trying to be a pirate with this?
Oh yeah, definitely. I have to.
I mean, I think it's the way to go, right?
Yeah.
Way to go.
I got this really cool like treasure hunting outfit too to kind of go along with everything. So I'm sporting it.
Now, see, like me, I'm going the other route. I'm devolving into my inner vampire for this one, since we're obviously getting a new vampire upgrade.
Oh,
I'm just digging into the vampire aspect of it quite a bit.
Did you find any like cool gothic outfits or anything like that? Or are you looking forward to trying to see if you can get your hands on like a gothic outfit?
One of my favorites, actually, that's like kind of themed at least towards like at least to me, it themes a little bit towards vampire stuff, is the Mana Marco like outfit you get from completing the base game. It's just such a good outfit. I'll have to show it to you later, and you tell me what you think. But you could still colorize it and do whatever you want. And the color I have it on it's not the stock color, but it like totally plays to like a vampire.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, this looks awesome. Yeah, this is perfect, actually.
Yeah, so I thought it was pretty good, and add the little crown to it.
Yeah, you can go gothic, you can go Nordic, or do like a treasure hunter thing like me.
Oh yeah, so I mean, you could definitely do all kinds of colors and everything with it too, which is kind of one of my favorite aspects of it. Like you could go like super gold, you could go super silver. Like mine's like silver. It's close to the original, but it's definitely there. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the vampire class, like seeing what that's all got to offer. The new dungeons, because I love dungeon running and trials and stuff like that. Like that stuff's really fun to me.
Well, sadly, there's no new dungeons coming with this update. But there's a lot of new like delves and public dungeons that you can find on the map, but not like the instance dungeon.
Oh, really? I thought there was two new ones aside of the Harrow Storm stuff.
No, they're coming later. They're coming some point this year, but not for Greenmore launch.
Oh, never mind. I was wrong. So it's the new trial that's the big thing.
Yeah, new trials.
So you get the new trial, and then we have to have the actual Harrow Storms, which is the Plague Western Skyrim. So that's going to be the new world event.
Yeah,
so new world event, and then the Skyrim's bounties, which are going to be really cool. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff to still dig into this.
To go off of the map real quick, we're getting Solitude, Morthal, Dragon Bridge, of course, Black Reach, and a lot of like underground Black Reach. So a lot of these like classic Skyrim locations we're getting here.
Yeah, and this is good. Like, I mean, I still feel like Skyrim's still like one of the better, games in this Elder Scrolls series to go off of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that about wraps it up for today. Any final words for today?
Can't wait to play tomorrow. It's going to be so exciting.
And as always, folks, you can always check out all the awesome talk shows here on INN. The Meta Show, Push to Talk, Cartridge to Cloud, and also Open Comms. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and hope you all have a great Memorial Day, and stay safe out there. We'll see you all later.
Everybody.